When was the last time you opened a book? With all the visual media available to us these days, not to mention all the social media, books ought to be dead, right? Well, you're dead wrong on that. Poppy Miller has more from the rarest of celebrations, a book fair.
Pat Conroy, what an honour it is to meet and interview you. I know that libraries were a huge part of your life growing up. How important is it to be able to do events like today and to give back to the community?
Well, I've always loved libraries. My mother was a library fanatic. She would take her children, she had 7 of us, and we'd go to the library every week and we could check out 5. And to me, it was the beginning of my life. It was the beginning of my writing life, my reading life. And if you love to read like I do, it's life itself is almost meaningless without books. And so when you get something like this going, where a library asks to give money, and money's being cut everywhere, and libraries around the country are being especially hurt, and I think it's a duty of writers to go to events like this, try to get people out, get them excited about books, get them excited about going to the library and supporting the library. And to me, it's almost a mortal duty that I do stuff like this.
And you're a beloved author of America, but who inspired you to begin writing?
I had a glorious English teacher named Eugene Norris at Beaufort High School. And Gene got me in his class. I was 15 years old. I wrote one paper for him, and he came up to me the next day and he said, "Boy, you're something, aren't you? You're not nothing. You're something. You want to be something." And Gene was one of the first people who told me I was going to be a writer. And he told me in this county, that was 55 years ago. And, he was one of the great influences of my life, one of the great friends of my life, and I gave the eulogy when Gene died.
And in your books, you capture life of the Lowcountry, the essence of living in the Lowcountry so well. What is it about the South that makes it so special to you?
Well, it's probably what makes England so special to you. There's that sense of place, which I've always loved, a sense of landscape I've always loved. And for me, every bell that is rung here is familiar. I'm looking out now, I see one of the kids I taught on Fusky Island, Marguerite Washington. And, I look another way, and everywhere I see, there's some friend. And what I love about the South particularly is there are no strangers here. You can go up to anybody, black, white, and start a conversation, and it's a friendly part of the world. It hasn't always been that way, but it's what it has developed into. And it's a part of the world where I have been giving story after story. I cannot believe the stories that come out of the South. And I think they might even come out of England, they come out everywhere, but people like me get to write them down.
And 3 of your novels have been made into movies. How did you initially feel about that? Do you think they captured the novel well?
Well, when it first happened, it was with Water is Wide. In Conrack, the movie came out, and I was too young to even, I was stunned. And then John Voight was going to play it in the movie, and that shocked me. Everything shocked me, and I did not feel I had anything to say about anything at that time. Later, I didn't, like some of the things that were made out of the movies, but to tell you the truth, they paid me enough money to keep Conroy's mouth shut. And, I reached a breaking point with money each time. So I've never complained about any movie that's ever been made because it is always helpful to both the book and the writer.
Well, everybody loves you, and thank you so much. It's been an honor to speak to you. Thank you for your time and for being here today.
And I hope England keeps sending lots of people like you to the Lowcountry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The latest actually was a collection of materials that I prepared. I did 3 before then. First called Halfway Home from Kindaloo, which is about my childhood. The second one was about the 20 years that I spent in the Air Force. And the third one was a collection of writings. Yet, as a writer, you're going to have materials that you don't publish in the first 2 or 3 or 4.
My relationship with Pat Conroy, he taught me on the Fusky Island. And once he left the Fusky Island, he took me to Beaufort with him, and I stayed with him in Beaufort for 1 year to go to school. So when he and his wife, first wife, Barbara Conroy, wanted to go out to dinner or movie, I was their babysitter.
I'm now joined by Catherine Wall, who wrote the Baytana series. What is the plans for your next book?
Well, I'm actually finished with that series. The most recent book, Jordan Point, will be the last one, number 13 and the last one in the series. I had a milestone birthday this summer, and I've decided it's time to take some time off.
Well, my first book is Gullah Home Cooking the Fusky Way. And writing that book, it was just telling stories about way of growing up and recipes of living off the land, the ocean, and growing great vegetable. And then I wrote a second book because it also has great recipes and a chapter on home remedies. They're both very different, but has all the goodness and love and stories about the Fusky growing up.
Well, we are a library, and we know that in Hilton Head, in this area, we have so many book clubs and so many readers. And we decided to start seeing what we could do, and it just seemed to snowball. As I contacted authors, it was like, sure, yeah, we can do this, we can do this. So we had just a wonderful reception from the authors, and then we found a place big enough to hold them. And I think it's going to be a really great day.
It has been tremendous. I couldn't have asked for a better starting out of the gate with this. Pat Conroy was there for my Bluffton book launch. Hundreds of people there. USCB just had a book launch. All of Jasper County came, and I've been in Nashville and Raleigh and Greenville and Pawleys Island, and the reception has been fantastic, and also the critical reception has been good, so that makes me particularly pleased.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Poppy. Always a pleasure.
And that's all from us here today at the book fair. It's been a fantastic turnout. I'm Poppy Miller reporting for WHHI. Back to you in the studio.